The Discovery. The vast emptiness of space stretched out before Captain Maya Chen as she guided the salvage ship Nighthawk through a field of asteroids. The ship's spotlights illuminated chunks of space rock drifting lazily in the void, occasionally revealing glints of precious metals hidden within their craggy surfaces. Any signs of that distress beacon, Zach? Maya called out to her sensor operator, her eyes never leaving the main viewport. Zach, a lanky man with a shock of red hair, hunched over his console. Still tracking it, Cap. Signal's weak, but it's definitely coming from the other side of this field. Maya nodded, her grip tightening on the controls. The Nighthawk wasn't the newest or prettiest ship in the galaxy, but it was hers. She'd scraped and saved for years to buy it, assembling a crew of misfits and dreamers along the way. They made their living salvaging derelict ships and mining asteroids, always on the lookout for that one big score that would set them up for life. As they emerged from the asteroid field, a collective gasp echoed through the bridge. Floating before them was a massive ship, unlike anything they'd ever seen. Its hull gleamed with an otherworldly iridescence, its sleek lines defying human engineering principles. "Holy shit," whispered Ava, the ship's engineer. That's not one of ours." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. In all her years of space travel, she'd never encountered a truly alien vessel. Humanity had spread across the stars, encountering ruins and artifacts of long-dead civilizations, but never a ship that looked so alive. "Life signs?" Maya asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Zach shook his head. "Nothing I can detect, Cap. But there's something weird. Energy readings I can't make sense of." Maya took a deep breath, weighing her options. Salvage laws were clear. A derelict ship was fair game. But this was unprecedented. "All right, crew. We're going in. Ava, prep the shuttle. Zach, you're with me. Dr. Amelia, stand by in the medbay. We might need you." As Maya and Zach donned their exosuits, the atmosphere in the shuttle bay was tense with anticipation. They'd all heard stories of alien encounters gone wrong, of traps left behind by long-dead species. But the potential rewards, the secrets this ship might hold, it was too tempting to resist. The shuttle detached from the Nighthawk, gliding silently towards the alien vessel. As they drew closer, Maya could see that parts of the hull were damaged, as if the ship had been through some kind of battle. "There," Zach pointed. "Looks like a docking port." Maya maneuvered the shuttle into position, feeling the gentle thud as the airlocks connected. With a hiss of equalizing pressure, the doors slid open. The interior of the alien ship was bathed in a soft, pulsating blue light. The corridors were curved and organic, unlike the utilitarian designs of human vessels. Maya and Zach moved cautiously, their helmet lights sweeping across the strange symbols etched into the walls. "Cap," Zach's voice crackled over the comm. "I'm picking up those weird energy readings again. Stronger now. Coming from down there." They followed the signal, descending deeper into the ship. The air grew colder, their breath fogging up their visors. And then they heard it, a soft, high-pitched trilling sound. "What the hell is that?" Zach whispered. They rounded a corner and froze. Before them was a large, translucent pod, cracked and leaking some kind of viscous fluid. And inside, "Oh my God," Maya breathed. Curled up in the remains of the pod were three small creatures. They looked almost like a cross between a lizard and a cat, with iridescent scales and large, expressive eyes. As Maya and Zach watched, one of them stirred, letting out another trill. "They're babies," Zach said, his voice filled with wonder. "Alien babies." Maya approached the pod slowly, her mind racing. These creatures were clearly the last survivors of whatever tragedy had befallen this ship. They were helpless, alone. One of the infants locked eyes with Maya, letting out a soft, plaintive cry. In that moment, something stirred deep within her, a fierce, protective instinct she'd never felt before. "Zack," she said, her voice steady. "Help me get them out of there." "Cap, are you sure? We don't know anything about them. They could be dangerous, or carry diseases, or—" "They're children," Maya cut him off. "We can't leave them here to die." With gentle hands, they extracted the 3 infants from the pod. The creatures were surprisingly heavy for their size, their scales smooth and warm to the touch. As Maya cradled one in her arms, it nuzzled against her suit, seeking warmth and comfort. "Nighthawk, this is Chen," Maya called over the comm. "Prepare the medbay. We've got passengers." As they made their way back to the shuttle, alarms suddenly blared throughout the alien ship. The pulsing blue lights turned an angry red. Cap. Ava's panicked voice came over the comm. "We've got company. 3 ships just dropped out of FTL. They're heading straight for us, and they don't look friendly." Maya's heart raced as she and Zack sprinted back to the shuttle, the alien infants held tightly in their arms. As the airlock closed behind them, she caught a glimpse of the newcomers through the viewport. Sleek, predatory ships of a design similar to the derelict. "Ava, warm up the engines," Maya ordered. "We're coming in hot, and then we're getting the hell out of here." As the shuttle docked with the Nighthawk, Maya made a decision that would change the course of her life and potentially the fate of the galaxy. "Plot a course for the outer rim," she told her pilot. "We're going off the grid." The alien ships opened fire as the Nighthawk fled, their energy weapons leaving scorch marks on the hull. But Maya's ship was small and nimble, and her crew was the best in the business. They dove into the asteroid field, using the space rocks as cover. As the Nighthawk jumped to FTL, leaving their pursuers behind, Maya looked down at the alien infant cradled in her arms. Its large eyes blinked up at her, filled with trust and innocence. "What have we gotten ourselves into?" she murmured. But deep down, she knew she'd made the right choice. Whatever these creatures were, wherever they'd come from, they were now her responsibility. And Captain Maya Chen always protected her own. As the stars streaked by outside, humanity's first true contact with an alien species slept peacefully, unaware of the adventure and the danger that lay ahead. The escape. The Nighthawk hurtled through space, its engine straining as Captain Maya Chen pushed the ship to its limits. The peaceful silence of the bridge was broken only by the soft trills of their newfound passengers and the occasional beep of the sensor array. "Status report," Maya demanded, her eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of hyperspace outside the viewscreen. Zack's fingers danced across his console. "No signs of pursuit yet, Cap, but our hitchhikers did a number on our power systems. We're burning fuel faster than normal." Maya nodded grimly. The alien infants, while small, seemed to emit some kind of energy field that interfered with the ship's systems. It was as fascinating as it was inconvenient. "Ava, how are our guests doing?" Maya called over the comm. The engineer's voice crackled back, tinged with a mix of excitement and frustration. "They're adaptable. I'll give 'em that. Figured out how to open the food storage units, currently trying to keep them from eating our entire supply of protein packs." A ghost of a smile played across Maya's lips. In the 2 days since their daring rescue, the alien infants had proven to be as mischievous as they were mysterious. Their ability to learn and adapt was nothing short of astonishing. "Dr. Amelia, any progress on communication?" Maya asked. The ship's medic and xenobiologist sighed heavily. "Some. They're highly empathic, seem to pick up on our emotions easily, but verbal communication is still a challenge. Their vocal structures are, well, alien." Maya was about to respond when a shrill alarm cut through the air. Zack's eyes widened as he studied his readouts. Multiple contacts just dropped out of hyperspace, same energy signatures as the ships that chased us from the derelict. Maya's heart raced. How the hell did they find us? "The babies," Dr. Amelia's voice was filled with awe. "They must be emitting some kind of traceable energy signature. That's how their people find them. Well, their people don't seem too friendly, Maya growled. Evasive maneuvers. Ava, we need more power to the engines. The Nighthawk banked hard, narrowly avoiding a barrage of energy weapons fire from the pursuing ships. The alien vessels were faster, more advanced. It was only Maya's skill and her crew's determination that kept them alive. As they weaved through an asteroid field, Maya's mind raced. They couldn't keep running forever. They needed a plan, a place to hide and regroup. Cap, Zack called out. I'm picking up a signal. It's an old Earth emergency frequency, coming from a small station about 2 light years from here. Maya's eyes narrowed. An old Earth station, out here in the fringes of known space. It was risky, but they were running out of options. Plot a course, she ordered, and pray whoever's there is feeling hospitable. As the Nighthawk changed course, Maya left the bridge to check on their passengers. She found them in the cargo bay, which had been hastily converted into a makeshift nursery. The 3 alien infants looked up as she entered, their large eyes blinking in unison. One of them, the smallest, with scales that shimmered like opals, chirped and waddled towards her on stubby legs. Without thinking, Maya scooped it up, marveling at how natural it felt. "What are you?" she murmured. "And why is everyone so desperate to get their hands on you?" The infant trilled softly, pressing its forehead against Maya's. Suddenly, her mind was flooded with images, stars, strange worlds, and a sense of immense power. She gasped, nearly dropping the creature. "Captain." Dr. Emilia's voice snapped Maya back to reality. The medic was standing in the doorway, concern etched on her face. "Are you all right?" Maya shook her head, trying to clear the lingering visions. I think they just tried to communicate with me. Doc, these aren't just animals. They're intelligent. Maybe more intelligent than we are." Before Dr. Emilia could respond, the ship shuddered violently. Maya's comm crackled to life with Zack's panicked voice. "Cap, we've got problems. They're right on top of us." Maya gently set the infant down and sprinted for the bridge, her heart pounding. As she burst through the door, she saw the massive forms of the alien ships looming through the view screen. "Status," she barked. "Shields at 60% and falling." Ava reported from her engineering station. "One more hit like that, and we're done for." Maya's mind raced. They were so close to the station. If they could just hold out a little longer. "Divert all non-essential power to the shields," she ordered, "and open a channel to that station. Audio only." There was a moment of static, then a gruff voice filled the bridge. "Unidentified vessel. This is Outpost Omega. State your business." Maya took a deep breath. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the salvage ship Nighthawk. We're under attack and request immediate assistance and docking permission." There was a long pause. In the background, Maya could hear muffled arguments. Finally, the voice returned. "Permission granted, Nighthawk. But be warned, any hostile action, and we'll blow you out of the sky ourselves." Relief flooded through Maya. "Understood, Outpost Omega. We're coming in." As they approached the station, a hodgepodge of old Earth modules and alien tech grafted together, the pursuing ships suddenly broke off their attack. "They're retreating," Zack reported, disbelief in his voice. Something about that station scared them off. Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Let's hope whatever it is stays on our side." As the Nighthawk docked with a metallic clang, Maya turned to her crew. "All right, people. We don't know what kind of welcome we're going to get, so stay sharp. Ava, you and Dr. Emilia stay with our passengers. Keep them hidden and quiet. The rest of you with me." The airlock hissed open, revealing a dimly lit docking bay. Waiting for them was a motley group of humans and aliens, all armed and looking wary. The tall, scarred man with cybernetic implants stepped forward. "I'm Commander Stark. Welcome to the ass end of the galaxy, Captain Chen. Now want to tell me why you've got a fleet of predecessors on your tail?" Maya blinked. Predecessors. Stark's organic eye narrowed. Don't play dumb. Those ships belong to the ones who came before. The species that seeded the galaxy with life eons ago. The ones who disappeared without a trace, until now. Maya's mind reeled. The implications were staggering. She thought of the infant aliens on her ship, of the strange visions they had shared. "Commander," she said carefully, "I think we need to talk. What I'm about to tell you might change everything we thought we knew about the galaxy." As Maya began to explain, she couldn't shake the feeling that they had stumbled onto something far bigger than a simple salvage job. The fate of her crew, the mysterious infants, and perhaps the entire galaxy now hung in the balance. And somewhere out in the darkness of space, the predecessors were coming. The Haven. The rusted walls of Outpost Omega groaned under the strain of artificial gravity, a constant reminder of the station's age and fragility. In a dimly lit conference room, Captain Maya Chen sat across from Commander Stark, the weight of her revelation hanging heavy in the recycled air. "Let me get this straight," Stark said, his cybernetic eye whirring as it focused on Maya. "You've got 3 infant predecessors on your ship, the same predecessors whose tech we've been scavenging for centuries. The ones who supposedly ascended beyond physical form." Maya nodded, her fingers drumming nervously on the table. "I know how it sounds, but it's the truth. And now their adult counterparts are hunting us across the galaxy." Stark leaned back, his chair creaking ominously. "If what you're saying is true, you've just dragged my little haven into an intergalactic shitstorm." "We had nowhere else to go," Maya countered. "And correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you've got some experience dealing with predecessor tech." A wry smile twisted Stark's scared face. "You could say that. This entire station is built on predecessor ruins. It's why we're hidden out here in the ass end of nowhere. But housing their young, that's a new one." Before Maya could respond, the door hissed open. Dr. Amelia burst in, her usually calm demeanor shattered by excitement. "Captain, Commander, you need to see this," she panted. They followed her through the winding corridors of the station, eventually arriving at a large, circular room. In the center, surrounded by a makeshift containment field, were the 3 alien infants. Maya's breath caught in her throat. The creatures were glowing, their scales shimmering with an inner light that pulsed in perfect unison. Around them, pieces of machinery, both human and alien in origin, floated in defiance of gravity. "It started about an hour ago," Dr. Amelia explained, her voice filled with awe. "They're interfacing with the station somehow, repairing damaged systems, optimizing power flow. It's like they instinctively understand technology on a fundamental level." Stark's organic eye widened. "By all that's holy." As they watched, one of the infants, the opal-scaled one that had connected with Maya before, turned its large eyes towards them. It trilled softly, and suddenly Maya's mind was filled with images once more. She saw vast cities of crystal and light, ships that sailed between stars as easily as boats on an ocean. She saw beings of pure energy, their forms too bright to look at directly. And she saw fear, a terrible, all-consuming fear that drove these godlike beings to hide their young, to scatter them across the galaxy. With a gasp, Maya came back to herself. She found she was on her knees, with Dr. Amelia supporting her. "Captain, are you all right?" the doctor asked, concern etched on her face. Maya nodded, her mind reeling from the vision. I think I understand now. They're not just infants. They're seeds. The next generation of predecessors." Stark's face hardened. "Which makes them the most valuable beings in the galaxy. Every power, every faction will be after them once word gets out." "Then we make sure word doesn't get out," Maya said, her voice firm. She turned to Stark. "Commander, I know we're asking a lot, but we need a place to lie low, to figure out our next move. And your station, it seems to resonate with them somehow." Stark was quiet for a long moment, his cybernetic eye whirring as he considered. Finally, he nodded. "All right, Captain. You and your crew can stay. But know this, if those things put my station or my people at risk, I'll space them myself. Clear. Maya met his gaze unflinchingly. Crystal. Over the next few weeks, Outpost Omega became a hive of activity. Maya's crew worked alongside Stark's people to fortify the station, upgrading weapons and shields with the help of their small predecessor guests. The infants grew at an astonishing rate, their intelligence and abilities expanding daily. They learned to communicate through a mix of trills, gestures, and the strange mental images they could project. Maya spent hours with them each day, marveling at their capacity for learning and their innate understanding of the universe. She found herself growing attached, seeing them less as alien beings and more as children, her children. But even as they worked to create a safe haven, tensions in the wider galaxy were rising. Reports trickled in of increased predecessor activity, of skirmishes between rival factions, all searching for the missing seeds. One night, as Maya stood in the observation dome watching distant stars, Zack approached her. "Cap," he said hesitantly. We picked up a transmission. Scrambled, but we managed to decode it." Maya turned, noting the worry in her sensor operator's eyes. "What is it, Zack?" He swallowed hard. "It's a bounty. For us. For the kids. Every mercenary and bounty hunter in the galaxy is going to be looking for us now." Maya's hand clenched into a fist. She thought of the infants. No, the children, peacefully sleeping in their makeshift nursery. Of the vision of fear that had driven their kind to such desperate measures. "Let them come," she said, her voice cold as space itself. "We'll be ready." As if in response to her determination, the station's lights flickered, then grew brighter. In the nursery, 3 pairs of alien eyes opened, glowing with an inner fire. The next phase of their journey was about to begin, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. But for now, in this hidden outpost on the edge of known space, a most unusual family prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Maya smiled to herself. Humanity had always dreamed of reaching the stars, of unlocking the secrets of the universe. They never imagined that the key to that dream would come in the form of 3 alien children, rescued from the depths of space by a ragtag crew of misfits. As she turned back to the star-filled vista, Maya made a silent promise. Whatever came next, whatever forces arrayed against them, she would protect these children, not just for their sake, or for the sake of the galaxy, but for the future of all species. The adventure was far from over. In fact, it had only just begun. The revelation. The holographic display flickered to life, casting an eerie blue glow across the faces of those gathered in Outpost Omega's command center. Captain Maya Chen stood at its center, her eyes narrowed as she studied the swirling patterns of galactic movement. "Another predecessor ship here," Zack pointed, his finger passing through the hologram. "That makes 5 in the last week." Commander Stark grunted, his cybernetic eye whirring as it processed the data. "They're searching in a pattern. Closing in." Maya nodded grimly. In the 3 months since they'd arrived at Outpost Omega, the galaxy had become a powder keg. Factions that had been at peace for centuries were now on the brink of war, all vying for information about the mysterious predecessor infants. As if summoned by her thoughts, a soft trill echoed through the room. Maya turned to see the 3 alien children enter, no longer infants, but looking more like adolescents. Their growth, both physical and mental, had been exponential. The one Maya had come to think of as the leader, the opal-scaled one she'd first connected with, approached the holographic display. Its large eyes blinked, taking in the information faster than any human could process. Suddenly, the hologram shifted, zooming in on a distant sector of space. A series of complex equations and symbols appeared, overlaying the star map. Dr. Amelia gasped. They're showing us the predecessor's search algorithm. We can predict where they'll look next." Maya felt a surge of pride, quickly tempered by concern. The children were becoming more powerful by the day, their abilities far surpassing anything they'd imagined. It was as awe-inspiring as it was terrifying. "Good work," she said softly, reaching out to gently stroke the opal-scale child's crest. It leaned into her touch, a gesture that never failed to warm her heart. Commander Stark cleared his throat. "This is all very impressive, but it doesn't solve our core problem. We're still sitting ducks out here. It's only a matter of time before." He was cut off by a blaring alarm. Zach's fingers flew across his console. Multiple ships just dropped out of FTL. There? Oh God. The hologram shifted again, showing a massive fleet of ships, some predecessor, some belonging to various galactic factions. At their center was a vessel that dwarfed all others, its design a perfect fusion of organic and technological elements. "It's the predecessor flagship," Stark breathed. "They found us." Panic threatened to overwhelm Maya, but she forced it down. She'd faced impossible odds before. She turned to her crew, to Stark's people, to the 3 alien children who watched her with trust in their large eyes. "Battle stations," she ordered, her voice steady. "Ava, divert all power to shields and weapons. Zach, start broadcasting on all frequencies. Let the galaxy know what's happening here." As the station's inhabitants scrambled to prepare for the coming onslaught, Maya felt a gentle touch on her arm. The opal-scaled child looked up at her, its eyes swirling with colors she couldn't name. Then, without warning, it pressed its forehead to hers. Maya's world exploded into light and sound. She saw the history of the predecessors play out before her, their rise to power, their mastery of the fundamental forces of the universe. She saw their eventual transcendence to energy beings, and the terrible loneliness that followed. But more than that, she understood. The predecessors hadn't abandoned their children out of fear or cruelty. They had hidden them to protect them, to give them a chance to grow and evolve naturally, free from the burden of their ancestors' legacy. As the vision faded, Maya found herself on her knees, tears streaming down her face. The 3 children surrounded her, their scales glowing with inner light. You want to go to them," she said, her voice choked with emotion. "To your people." The children trilled in unison, a sound filled with both sadness and hope. Maya stood, her decision made. She turned to face her crew and the inhabitants of Outpost Omega. "Stand down weapons," she ordered. "Captain." Stark's voice was incredulous. "Have you lost your mind?" Maya shook her head. "Trust me, Commander. I know what we need to do." As the massive predecessor ship drew near, its energy readings off the charts, Maya led the 3 children to the station's main airlock. Her crew and Stark's people watched in tense silence as she cycled the door open. A being of pure light floated through the opening, a predecessor in its transcendent form. Maya felt waves of emotion washing over her, curiosity, hope, and an overwhelming sense of love. The 3 children stepped forward, their bodies beginning to glow. As Maya and the others watched in awe, the children's physical forms dissolved, transforming into beings of pure energy like their ancestor. The predecessor's voice echoed in Maya's mind, filled with gratitude and joy. "You have cared for our children, nurtured them, protected them. You have given them what we could not, the chance to grow, to learn, to become more than what we designed them to be." Maya felt tears in her eyes once more. "They're remarkable. Will we ever see them again?" The glowing forms of the children swirled around her one last time, filling her mind with images of future meetings, of a new era of cooperation between species. "This is not an end," the predecessor's voice promised. "It is a beginning." As the energy beings retreated to their ship, Maya felt a profound sense of loss, but also of hope. She turned to face her crew, Stark, and all those who had fought alongside her. "We've just witnessed the rebirth of a species," she said, her voice filled with wonder. "And in doing so, we've opened the door to a new future for all of us." The massive predecessor ship began to glow, preparing to depart. But before it vanished into the depths of space, it sent out a pulse of energy that washed over Outpost Omega. Systems that had been failing came to life, and knowledge flooded into their computer banks, gifts from a grateful race. As the ship disappeared in a flash of light that outshone the stars themselves, Maya knew that nothing would ever be the same. Humanity had proven itself worthy of the cosmos, capable of compassion and understanding, even in the face of the utterly alien. The galaxy was about to enter a new age, and Maya Chen and her ragtag crew of misfits had been the ones to usher it in. As the inhabitants of Outpost Omega began to celebrate, Maya gazed out at the star-filled vista, a smile playing on her lips. The greatest adventure of all, she realized, was just beginning. The resolution. The years that followed the departure of the predecessor children were a time of unprecedented change and growth for the galaxy. Outpost Omega, once a forgotten haven on the fringes of known space, had become the epicenter of a new era of interstellar cooperation and discovery. Captain Maya Chen stood in the newly constructed observation dome, marveling at the sight before her. Where once there had been empty space, a bustling spaceport now orbited the station. Ships of all shapes and sizes, representing species from across the galaxy, docked and departed in a carefully choreographed dance. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Commander Stark's gruff voice came from behind her. The years had softened his edges somewhat, though his cybernetic eyes still wared as it took in the scene. Maya nodded, a smile playing on her lips. "Sometimes I still can't believe it's real." The gift left behind by the predecessors had been more than just advanced technology. It was a roadmap to a new kind of civilization, one built on mutual understanding and shared knowledge. The data they'd left behind had revolutionized everything from energy production to medicine, ushering in an unprecedented era of prosperity. But it hadn't all been smooth sailing. There had been those who feared change, who saw the new alliance of species as a threat to their power. The early years had been marked by skirmishes and political turmoil as the galaxy adjusted to its new reality. Through it all, Maya and her crew had stood at the forefront, mediating disputes and exploring the furthest reaches of known space. The Nighthawk, upgraded with predecessor tech, had become a symbol of this new age, a small ship accomplishing the impossible. A soft chime interrupted Maya's reflections. She tapped her comm unit. "Chen here." Zach's excited voice came through. "Cap, you're gonna want to see this. We're picking up some unusual readings from the Antares sector." Maya's heart quickened. "On my way." As she and Stark made their way to the command center, Maya couldn't help but feel a familiar thrill of anticipation. Every unusual reading, every unexplained phenomenon, carried the hope of contact. A chance to see the children they'd cared for, now grown into their full predecessor forms. The command center was a hive of activity, screens displaying data streams and star charts. Zach looked up as they entered, his eyes bright with excitement. "Take a look at this," he said, bringing up a holographic display. A swirling vortex of energy pulsed at its center, unlike anything they'd seen before. Dr. Amelia, her hair now streaked with gray, studied the readings with intense focus. "It's similar to the energy signature of the predecessor ship, but different, more complex." Maya felt a familiar tingling at the base of her skull, a sensation she'd come to associate with the children's attempts at communication. She closed her eyes, opening her mind. Images flooded her consciousness, strange new worlds, civilizations beyond imagination. And at the center of it all, three familiar presences. When she opened her eyes, she found the entire room watching her expectantly. "It's them," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "They found something out there, something big, and they want us to see it." Stark raised an eyebrow. "Us? As in, all of us," Maya confirmed. "Every species, every world. They're inviting us to take the next step." The implications were staggering. This wasn't just first contact or a technological leap. This was an invitation to join the predecessors in exploring realities beyond their own. As the news spread, the galaxy held its collective breath. Leaders debated, scientists theorized, and ordinary citizens looked to the stars with a mixture of fear and hope. In the end, it was Maya who addressed the galaxy, standing before a sea of faces, human and alien alike. She spoke from the heart. "We stand at a crossroads," she began, her voice carried to every corner of known space. "Before us lies a path to knowledge and experiences beyond our wildest dreams. Yes, it's frightening. Yes, it's unknown. But isn't that what we've always strived for? To push beyond our limits, to explore, to grow." She paused, her eyes scanning the crowd. "Years ago, a twist of fate brought 3 alien children into our lives. We could have feared them, exploited them, or destroyed them. Instead, we chose to nurture them, to learn from them. And in doing so, we proved that we're ready for this next great leap. The predecessors aren't our masters or our saviors," she continued. "They're our partners in this grand adventure. So I say to you all, let's take this step together. Let's show the universe what we're capable of." The response was overwhelming. Cheers erupted from the crowd, echoed by millions watching across the galaxy. In that moment, Maya knew they had made the right choice. In the days that followed, a great expedition was prepared. Ships from every world and species gathered, ready to embark on a journey beyond the boundaries of known space. As Maya stood on the bridge of the Nighthawk, preparing to lead this unprecedented armada, she felt a sense of completion. The scared, abandoned infants they'd rescued had grown into beings of unimaginable power and wisdom. And humanity, along with all the species of the galaxy, had grown right alongside them. "Ready to go, Cap?" Ova asked from her station, her voice tinged with excitement. Maya looked around at her crew, older now, but still filled with the same spirit of adventure that had brought them together all those years ago. She thought of the children, now vast beings of energy and thought, waiting to guide them into a new era of existence. With a smile, she gave the order she'd been waiting a lifetime to give. "Take us to the stars." As the Nighthawk led the fleet into the swirling vortex, Maya Chen felt a profound sense of joy. They had faced the unknown with courage and compassion, and in doing so, had written a new chapter in the history of the galaxy. The adventure that had begun with a distress call and 3 abandoned alien infants had led them to the threshold of a new existence. And as they crossed that threshold together, humans, aliens, and predecessors alike, Maya knew that the greatest discovery still lay ahead. The story of humanity's journey to the stars had only just begun.